So basically we're creating a gift card set, and I have 4 of these. You'll notice I've done some variety on the butterfly. Here I've used pearls for the body of my butterfly. Here I've just used some glimmer and some dazzling diamonds to sparkle the butterfly up, so that's totally up to you. What I forgot to tell you is I also never forget my envelopes. So I have 4 envelopes to coordinate perfectly because I've actually used that same embossing folder to emboss the flaps of my envelope. So now my envelope looks beautifully coordinated with my card set. So the question for part 2, which is this video, is how do we package this up and give it to the person that we want to give this to? Well, we're going to take an 8.5 by 11, that makes it easy, piece of cardstock, and here I've scored it in half, which is at 8.5 by 11 scored in half would be scored at 5.5, and then I turned it the long way and scored it at 2.25 on the bottom. That's going to act as a pocket for our card. So first let's dress it up a little bit. So I've taken a stamp from the Friends 24/7, and I'm going to use Versamark again, as we've been using the whole time with this card, to add some embellishment to the outside of this card face. So I chose this stamp because to me it looks a lot like the embossing folder pattern. And I'm just taking this all across my portfolio front. And so another thing is this same idea, what I'm making here for the gift card set, could be used for a stationery set as well, for a brag book. So you could put photos in here. It's really just a portfolio container that can hold anything. And I'm going to use it for cards. And since I'm going to use it for cards, you're going to see I'm going to take a ribbon and pull it through here in order to create something that will hold them down. So I'm just going to bring this pattern right through here. And I might be a little bit too symmetrical for some individuals, and if that's the case, then go ahead and unsymmetrical it, you know, stamp randomly. Now I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut a diagonal up on the bottom around that center score line on both sides. And what that diagonal is going to do for me is it's going to make it easier for the card to fold with the other cards in there. So to seal this down, I'm going to use some tacky tape. I suggest you use something quite aggressive. So I'm using this, which I'll put up the number as to how you can order this. It's very strong tape. When you use this tacky tape, you can be sure that nothing is ever going to come apart. It is very strong. So I use it whenever I'm doing anything that I'm afraid could fall off, or if it's even traveling by postal service, I'll do this too because I want to make sure it doesn't fall apart over time. And this is something that's going to be handled, and so that's why I'm using a stronger adhesive as well. So just folding that up. And so I only had strips on both sides. I didn't need strips of adhesive anywhere else. And now I'm going to use ribbon. Now the same ribbon could be used here so that it matches the cards, or I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create holes for this ribbon. So I'm going to use my ruler to basically mark inch point near the center of this card. So the 1/2 inch point on both sides. Then I'm going to use my crocodile. I'm going to use it on the larger side, the 3/16 side, and I'm going to punch right where those holes are. Sorry, I had to take it out of the camera for a minute so I could see. So now I have these holes on both sides. That's where my ribbon's going to go through. I'm going to take my ribbon, and I'm going to leave it on the spool because I don't really know how long it's going to be. And I'm going to thread it up towards the center of the card. Then I'm going to thread it down. Then I'm going to thread it up into the center of the portfolio again. And then I'm going to pull it as far as I need to pull it. And then finally I'm going to pull it back out of the card. And so I end up with two. And what will happen is eventually we're going to put our cards in here. On one side will be the card, and on the other side will be the envelope. So that's why we've done that. And then the whole thing folds and ties as a closure. So you can leave as many inches as you like on each side. Totally up to you how much you want them to have as far as inches. I'm tying this closed and opening it. And I'm just trimming off the edges, and you might not have seen me do that. It's off the camera. Alright, so before I put these in there though, okay, so with it flipped over, I'm going to put some embellishments on this side. So basically I've decided to use a white mat and another piece of that same crumb cake paper with the embosslet. The same embosslet theme is coming through, and you can kind of see how it matches that stamp fairly well. So before I adhere the crumb cake down, I'm going to put a little bit of embellishment on it. So Stampin' Up! Sells chipboard letters, or you can buy our die cut letters, or you can just buy stamps and then use the stamps to create your letters. But I really like putting words on these gift sets. So I'm just going to move this over just a little bit, and basically this is going to say what's in there. And it's glimmered up in the same way that the butterflies were. So I've just got these 4 chipboard letters here that I'm going to put down. And I'm kind of putting them down kind of freaky. Okay, that's going to go there. It says what this is. And then I might even put a little embellishment on here. I think I will. Opposite the S. So I'm going to use my crocodile again just to make a little hole for my brad. Okay, so I'm going to put the brad in. Sorry, you might not have seen that. And that's going to be the front. So I have already put my tape on the back here of my white. And I thought it was important to bring the white in again so that it ties in with the ribbon. And I'm just going to put that somewhat center. I actually like it a little bit higher than center, but if you're a center fan, put it in the center. And then I've got tape on the back of this embossed paper too. With the embossing, it is easier to use sticky tape, either two-sided tape or the tacky tape, which I have here, which I'll put a number up for that, which is my favorite as far as sticking permanently. And then I'm going to center that there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it back over. I'm going to take my 4 envelopes. I've got 4 envelopes, and they've all been embossed as we explained earlier. And I'm going to put them into one side. And I'm going to take my 4 cards, which are gorgeous. With the ribbon up, I'm going to put them on the other side. So I've basically got the ribbon high, and the butterfly, so that they're not damaged by the fold. I'm going to pull, and that'll tighten them in there. Then I can close this and tie a bow. And this is for my mom, my best friend, my significant other, my whoever that I totally care about a lot, because this is beautiful. It's a special treat to whoever might receive it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did. It's always fun to use Stampin' Up! Products, especially the embossing folders and the embosslets. I just find they kick everything up to a level of elegance that is unparalleled. Thank you, and come back again later on this week.